80s heat. 80s heat. Friendship, laughs, and camaraderie.
Friends?
I'm back.
Yeah, okay. Let's get into it.
The tournament.
The tournament, man. I think we need a very quick recap of the rules, which I'll just do super quick. Tournament rules. 1, must be an 80s human character. Fictional human character. 2, must be mortal. We don't have any immortals. We don't have any vampires. Any people with special powers. No Superman.
There's no vampires?
No vampires. No.
That sucks.
It's got to be. That sucks. Yeah, I love it. 3, no.
Drive a stake through my heart with that one. King of the dad joke.
Dad
folks.
jokes, yeah.
King of the dad jokes. Don't cross me.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Can we turn off his camera and mic?
Oh,
Let's do that. 3.
all right.
No enhancements except PEDs. So steroids are good.
Yeah,
They're
steroids
good.
are good.
We're good. We're good to juice.
What about
We can get
garlic?
on the gear.
Oh, no, well, it doesn't. You can wear garlic if you want.
Because
There's no
of the vampires.
4, it's inside an octagon cage. We're limiting the movement of the characters to inside an octagon cage. 5, it's a fight to the death. And 6, no weapons.
No weapons.
Boom. Let's get into it.
Yeah, fight to the death. You're going into a casket.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, like a vampire.
Right, so who we got? Which
which
division is this?
Today, friends, we embark upon a new division.
Oh,
We will begin the first round. What you mean, Randy Savage?
Oh, yeah!
Miss Elizabeth, I'm gonna tell you about a little tournament we got. It's gonna be Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon. Just a side note, it's low-hanging fruit. I'm not going into it, but everybody loses their minds. Die Hard, a Christmas movie.
No.
No,
Yes.
but nobody.
Silence.
No, we're not. We're not doing it.
No.
But I'm just saying, isn't Lethal Weapon the same shtick? Just saying, folks. If one is, what the other is. Martin Riggs, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the Battle of the Gibsons.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'll level with you. I'm a big Mel Gibson fan. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He hasn't put a foot poorly in many movies for me. Big Mel Gibson fan. And one of his characters is going out in round 1.
Well, that's fair because he's
Yeah.
fighting himself.
He is fighting himself.
Well, you despise that first movie, hey?
I don't know what you're talking
Is
about.
that what this is based off of? The first movie? It can.
No,
It's
it's
just
Mad
during
Max.
the
Don't
80s.
can
Just
come
during
into
the
play,
80s.
right?
Yeah, because that was the 80s. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
all
Okay,
good.
folks, we've talked about this. We talked about this privately. We said to Jake on the group chat, this is the exact question he asked a couple days ago
What
on the group
question?
chat. Well, can it be all of the Mad Maxes or can it be just... it has to be the Gibson version. You can't bring in the Tom Hardy version.
No, I'm not talking about the Tom Hardy. I'm talking about Thunderdome.
Anything
Yeah,
Mad
that's
Max.
it.
Yeah. So
Mad Max,
So-
yes. It's like Rocky. We're not saying that you can only encompass Rockies 3 and 4. Rocky carried from the 70s to the 80s, so you can include everything. If it breaches into the 90s, you can include it. So long as the character had some sort of span in the 80s.
we're speaking the same language.
Yes.
That was an unnecessary rant.
Speaking
the same language.
You've asked it 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I know not Tom Hardy. I never assumed Tom Hardy would be.
Back me up on this.
Yeah.
He's asked this.
I'm just keeping out of this one. Are you not used to it by now? I'm giving up. Like you know that Simpsons episode where like Homer's just like it focuses in on his brain and you get like an X-ray of his brain and there's that monkey with the fucking symbols.
You know what I was thinking of? That's true too. It's like when he walks up to Lisa and he goes, "Lisa, it's like David versus Goliath. Only this time, David won." And then it goes to Lisa's brain and she's like, "Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
heard
hit
it
you
too.
guys. I'm gonna hit you
Just
guys.
let it
You
go.
smarty pants.
Just let it go."
I'm hitting you guys with some big
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay, so Martin Riggs versus Mad Max. Who's to go first?
It's your turn.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm happy with that because I'm a quick hitter today.
Okay,
Oh.
cool.
I'm a quick hitter. Martin Riggs. Do you want to know why? I hate Mad Max.
It's
No.
not about whether you like the movie or not. It's about who would win in a fight in an octagon.
Mad Max. So here at 80s Heat, we watched the first
He's about
Mad
to-
Max movie. And I stood up, threw my finger in the air, and I proclaimed it my least favorite movie in the history of 80s Heat. Now, here's a little fun
It
fact
was
you
pretty
guys
bad.
might not even know. I went, this was about a year ago, I plugged in the one with Tina Turner,
Yeah, that's
Beyond Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
and I only made it 30 minutes.
What?
As this is the drizzling shits, and I turned it off again. I have turned off one movie that I've paid for on like a Shaw on Demand kind of a thing, because if I pay the $5, I'll sit through
You're
anything.
watching it, yeah.
And I had to turn off the Tom Hardy one. Look,
Really?
look, I get it.
I like that.
I get it.
It was just okay.
I'm in the
Right.
minority here, right? I'm in the minority. I accept that. This entire world loves Star Wars. I can't say Star Wars sucks because it doesn't. Everybody loves it, but just
I hate it.
something about me just never enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And Mad Max, whether I'm watching the old ones, the new ones, anything, there's just something about those movies that I wholeheartedly don't enjoy. So there's a bias there. I'll admit that there's a bias. I don't find the character, particularly in the first one, which is really the only one I can go off of, because I never finished the second one. He didn't strike me as all that tough. He was good at driving a car and he had a gun. But Martin Riggs kind of had that like old school resiliency grit to him. To be honest, I don't know if Martin Riggs has a long shelf life in this tournament, but he's taken this one for me, and I'll let you two
But
guys.
how about that fight scene at the end
Of what?
of Lethal Weapon?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah, it was great.
yeah,
all the cavalry arrived,
I know,
and he's
Yeah.
like, "No, stay back.
I know.
We're doing this old school." That's
Yeah. No, he's a great character. He's a badass. He's a scrapper. He's not skilled in any particular type of discipline. He's kind of that throwback, right? Like you had your Arnold type characters that were just jacked to the nines doing superhuman stuff. You had your martial arts characters that could just do crazy athletic stuff. And then you sort of had those John McClane, Martin Rigg type characters that were just, okay, I've been on the streets. I know what to do. I've been there. I've done that. I can take a punch. I like that. I like the character. I think he's scrappier. I think if they get into an actual fight, I don't think it's very quick. I don't think it's very long. I think it's quick. Martin Riggs, that's my vote. You guys take it away.
1-0, Martin Riggs.
right.
Right, who's next?
Well, you can go.
You want me to go?
You've got all the facts. You've probably written it down and done some research.
Of course, Ian has
Consulted
Let's
Wikipedia.
Of course, Ian has notes. Okay, so Mel versus Mel. Mad Max. His background: he's an ex-cop turned kind of vigilante, I guess. Martin Riggs. His background is ex-special forces turned cop. So he's special forces.
Already sounds better to me. Better movie too.
Yeah,
Watchable.
I've put here like, and I'll talk about Mad Max a little bit first. Like his battle IQ is excellent. In battle IQ is an important part of a fight. It's excellent. In Beyond Thunderdome, he has a cage fight with a guy called Blaster. Blaster's like
Ends up being special needs.
I knew you were gonna pick up on that. He's a gimp looking dude, but he's quite a big, imposing looking unit. But he has this like iron mask thing on, right? So Max bounces up. They're on those like bungees, right? And he bounces up to the top of the cage to grab a spear, and he uses it to cut Blaster's bungees, so to limit his movement, right? So that's good. But then as well, I don't know because I've not watched the whole movie in a long time, but he finds a whistle and he blows it, and he finds out he knows that this Blaster doesn't like noise, and he blows this whistle and like messes him up to the point where Max can then pick up this gigantic, ridiculous, cartoonish mallet, and then he just starts smashing Blaster around the head because he's got this iron like mask thing.
Sounds like weapons and whatnot, but whatever.
Yeah, but I'm talking about battle IQ. So he's weakened him, like he's taken out the bungees, he's outmaneuvered him to cut his bungees, to restrict his movement. Then he's used the weapon to kind of...
All would be unuseful in the octagon.
Yeah, but it's the point of his battle IQ. That's all I'm saying.
And he doesn't smash the poor fellow.
No, so when so when his mask comes off, he realizes he's like a Downs kid, and that's Blaster.
That's Blaster. Yeah,
This is Blaster. So when he sees Blaster's cute
really
face,
strong though.
he's like, oh, I don't want to smash that guy. So then he goes easy on him. So I just thought that was a fun thing to know.
So he uses weapons and doesn't have killer instinct.
It doesn't have a killer instinct.
Okay,
No,
that's good.
but battle IQ for Martin Riggs, excellent. He uses every part of his body as a weapon. I'm about to go into Martin Riggs here.
Okay.
So he has, in the first movie, he has a hand-to-hand fight with Gary Busey's character, Mr. Joshua.
What do you say, Jack? Would you like a shot at the title? Don't mind if I do.
Now, Mr. Joshua is quite a big unit, and he's a bit of a psychopath. And there's that bit, he's got a really high pain tolerance. There's that bit where his boss there holds like a flame under his, like
Is
a
that the
lighter.
guy from Lionheart?
Gary Busey.
No,
He's
Mr.
the
Joshua.
buttered sausage
Mr.
guy.
Joshua, no.
Okay.
No. So Mr. Joshua, yeah, so he's got high pain tolerance, like he doesn't really react to this flame burning his skin kind of thing. So Martin Riggs goes one-on-one with him at the end. But we see Riggs, he's not, I kind of disagree with you in a little bit. He's not just a scrapper. He's a very skilled martial artist. We see him throw crescent kicks, which connect, right? And if you've ever thrown a crescent kick, or
Have you thrown a crescent kick?
I have thrown a crescent
Have
kick.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
When did you throw a crescent kick?
In my pro wrestling days, Jacob.
So what's a crescent kick? I need a demonstration.
So,
of
so
a crescent
you've got
kick.
you've got like an inside crescent kick and like
So
an outside
is
crescent
it
kick.
like going like this?
Yeah, that's an outside
okay.
crescent kick, and then an inside one is coming inside, right?
So
But-
is that
but-
an effective
but
move?
they-
Is that
yeah,
actually
well,
an effective
Yeah,
move?
but depending on how you hit it, but they can be quite hard because you're telegraphing them, right? Because they come a long way around.
Yeah,
so-
'cause that's the thing. You're
so-
telegraphing it.
Yeah, so he manages to hit one and connect, and that's impressive to me. He gets him square
yeah,
in
I
the
guess
face,
you probably
right?
don't usually connect.
But we see him throw these kicks, we see him throw punches, we see him throw elbows. He throws a jumping knee strike at Mr. Joshua.
Yeah.
Seems like scrapping to me.
And he uses like jujitsu as well. Like he goes for an armbar at one point, right? And Mr. Joshua manages to wriggle out of an armbar. Then Joshua picks up a weapon because he can't beat Riggs fairly because he's just outmatched him. So then Riggs gets thrown from the peanut gallery there. He's got Murtaugh and all the other cops because
A
like
bunch of cops just
Murtaugh.
well, like Jake said, he alluded to it earlier. Riggs wants a fair fight. It's like, no, you stay the hell back.
It was a cool scene.
So
Right,
but then Joshua gets this weapon. So then someone throws Riggs like a side-handle baton, like a tonfa, and then it's like, right, come on, and he beats him with that to the point where Joshua drops his weapon, and then Riggs just gets rid of that, and he's like, right, fisticuffs time, right, which is amazing. And then, so he wants a fair fight, so he's got that warrior mentality, right? Murtaugh wants to get involved. He keeps on, let me get him kind of thing, but Riggs is like, just back off kind of thing, right? And then he finishes Mr. Joshua off with like a triangle choke. And that was before people knew what a triangle choke was. So this guy is showing some like wrestling, some jiu-jitsu, some boxing. There's a bit where he has like a boxer stance.
Yep.
He's throwing crescent kicks, jumping knee kicks. This guy's skilled.
He's got his
And
shirt off, he looks pretty good.
he's ex-special forces. You could, in fact, say that he is a lethal weapon.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, in conclusion, for me, we've got both guys that are we've got to assume that are about the same height and reach and strength.
Well, they're the same person.
It's the same person, yeah, right?
Their attributes will be very similar.
But you know how like you can get wrestling stats, but we have to assume that they're kind of the same. Conditioning, like I would have assumed, like Max was in slightly better shape because I don't think we ever saw him smoke cigarettes, and Riggs is like always
He
smoking.
was post-apocalyptic. His nutrition would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
But when you see Riggs go in that fight particularly, like he's very fit, very agile. He doesn't gas out easily. Iron Will, they're probably something about the same with the Will, just because of the way Max like handled Blaster and the way he's like getting away from him, and like he's got that will to win kind of thing, right? And this is another thing as well, like Riggs is suicidal, but when it comes down to a fight, like his animal defense instincts come out, because it's like, what is he going to do? Is it, like if it's in that life and death, is he going to be like, oh, finally, that someone's going to put me out of my misery? But no, like when he's in a fight with Mr. Joshua, like it's like, no, fuck, let's go, and I'm going to win.
Yep. Good point.
That
Yeah,
comes
that's good.
out, right? You know, battle IQ, Max, like we said, he finds ways other than his fists and feet, but Riggs seems to be better with his fists and his feet. He is that lethal weapon, right? And Max, we know, to your point earlier, we know he can't use weapons, and Riggs prefers not to use weapons. The winner for me, obviously, Martin Riggs. I just think he's too skilled. 2-0, Martin Riggs.
Yep.
Well, Jake, there's a chance to make it a clean sweep or compel a case.
You guys have imparted a lot of
You-
facts and knowledge on the group here.
You could
I don't-
sway someone.
Well, no, I'm in agreement, guys.
Hey.
I don't have a ton to add here, and like it's the same actor, different characters, different day and age. One is post-apocalyptic, one is like current day. He's a police officer. Both had big fight scenes with a huge audience. I mean, Max was in a cage fighting that poor fellow Blaster who was, he was a hell of a fighter, but
Oh, he could go.
But
Yeah,
he
he could go.
not the sharpest.
Big,
thing.
big, imposing dude. And, yeah.
Yeah, but and then Riggs is fighting with an audience of police officers in a helicopter up top, like everybody's there watching while he's having a fair fight with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they say like the duty officer was on his way but wasn't there yet. So
Yeah.
not sure I was going to write up that police report when that's
No, that would be quite.
Anyways,
it was the 80s. You'd get away with shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, very similar circumstances. I would say Max, and based on Max's character, defaults to fast driving and weapons and firearms, and that's just part of his shtick in the movie. It's not hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Whereas Martin Riggs, police officer, has a much different background, like you said. Is better hand-to-hand combat fighter, and their stature is the same. Like it's the same actor, it's just different characters. So yeah, I think it's Riggs for sure. That's an easy win. So this was an easy one.
Clean sweep, 3-0.
Yeah.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
And Mad Max was the shit. I like
that first movie was terrible.
I think that's the worst movie that was ever made, the original Mad Max. If anybody thinks otherwise, throw it in the comments. But
what is the worst movie ever made, in your opinion? Throw it in the comments.
I think Mad Max, the original.
Original Mad Max.
Thunderdome, I liked. I liked Thunderdome.
It's up there. Trying to think of we have
worst movie ever made. That's a whole other podcast.
That is, we could almost
we'll
do
do
that.
that, yeah.
I mean, Halloween Ends is up there.
Oh, don't
do
do it. Don't get me started.
That's
Yeah.
80 feet, friendship, lots and camaraderie.